Hi. Back in April, I was working on a pretty intense job. I was required to work really long hours, like 29 hours at a time. And, well, because I was actually working two jobs at the same time, but I was working on a movie set as an assistant stunt coordinator, so it was my job to keep everybody safe. And as such, as we were working through the night and I started becoming fatigued, I realized that if I lost my mental acuity, that could result not only in me not being able to do my job, but that it could result in somebody becoming seriously injured. And so while I was on this movie set at like 4 a.m. in the morning after being awake for 24 hours, I realized I needed to do something, and I needed to do something now. And then it occurred to me, the energization exercises. Yogananda says you can recharge the body, mind, and soul at will. So I would sneak off during our little breaks into the bathroom, and I would energize in the bathroom. And I was absolutely blown away with the results from energizing. And what was really interesting was because I needed the energy, I gave as much into the exercises as I possibly could, and consequently I discovered much more in them than I had before when I would just passively practice them in my bedroom. So when I finished that job, the cogs of my curiosity began turning, and I started wondering what could happen if I just gave this amount of energy to my energization practice consistently. And so I embarked on a little quest that I imposed on myself to really throw myself wholeheartedly into energization. So I started energizing 2, 3, sometimes even more times a day, and was doing so with all of the intensity that I could possibly muster. And the results were absolutely stunning. I think first and foremost, the thing that I have been most happy with is through this practice, I've actually discovered in myself a yearning for meditation, where before it was sometimes would feel like a necessity or like an obligation. Now I yearn to meditate. And I think that has something to do about with the conscious energy that is now more accessible to me, and that energy wants to meditate, it wants to go to spirit. And so I find myself just wanting to meditate where before I didn't. That, I think, has been the greatest blessing of increasing my energization practice. The other more mundane things, though impressive, are I've noticed that, as I said on the job set, I could go as long as 29 hours without sleep and remain acute. I've noticed I haven't needed to eat as much. I feel just an intense enthusiasm for everything I have to do, even if it's something as silly as taking out the garbage. That's okay. That takes energy, and I love energy. I've noticed that the more energy I have, the more I can give to other people, and that has been something that's deeply fulfilling to me, is being able to give people more, even if it's something just as simple as being able to be entirely present for someone, listening to them when they're in need. That requires energy, and I have that energy now. But like I said, I think my favorite part of the whole experience has been the increased desire for meditation and also the increased depth. Because with this newfound energy, I've been discovering greater and greater depth in my meditation, that it's like a rabbit hole, that the more I go in, the further I think I could go, and it's truly exhilarating.